I remember being about 13 years old and waiting in the Starbucks line after school. My grandfather and I were getting our normal Wednesday afternoon coffee when we noticed two men exchanging a passionate kiss outside their vehicle in the parking lot. To my surprise, my grandfather got red in the face, muttered a derogatory term under his breath, and quoted, "This is what's wrong with society." This is the first time in my life that I realized the scrutiny that homosexual people must face every single day. My name is Taylor Neely, and today I'm here to tell you about how gay marriage should be accepted and why that the people who don't accept gay marriage should change their minds. I believe that gay marriage is morally and constitutionally right and should be accepted nationwide and worldwide. Procon.org states this: on June 26, 2015, the United States Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage is a right protected by the U.S. Constitution in all 50 states. Prior to their decision, same-sex marriage was already legal in 37 states and Washington, D.C. Over the years, U.S. public opinion has shifted significantly. In 1996, there was only 27% approval rate of gay marriage, but that changed to 60% approval rate in 2015. Our country has progressed so much throughout the years, but it wasn't always this way. Prior to 1975, being homosexual could be enough to get you committed into an insane asylum. I couldn't imagine being told that because I loved somebody that my mind wasn't in the right place. I'm going to explain why I'm on the pro train and have nothing but support for all my homosexual friends and fellow citizens. My first point is the separation of church and state. You may recall a document called the Constitution that our founding fathers drafted as a supreme law for our nation. The Constitution has a Bill of Rights, and the First Amendment declares many things, one of them being freedom to practice or to not practice religion. Denying two people of the same sex to get married is a violation of this right because civil marriages and religious marriages are two separate institutions. According to balancepolitics.org, if two men get married in a courthouse under a binding agreement, their marriage is just as valid as if two Muslims got married under the Quran. Just because we all practice different religions doesn't mean that our marriages are any less valid or that we should be denied having joint households. My next point is discrimination. Denying these marriages is a form of minority discrimination because homosexuals are one of our nation's minorities. PeopleForTheAmericanWay.org brought up a good point. Their point was about the Defense of Marriage Act, or more commonly referred to as the DOMA. Passed in 1996, the so-called Defense of Marriage Act defines marriage under federal law as only a legal union between one man and one woman as husband and wife. This targets gays and lesbians for discrimination by requiring that legally married same-sex couples be denied all of the federal benefits and protections that every other married couple enjoys. The DOMA is unconstitutional because it violates the equal protection guarantee of the Fifth Amendment by withholding these benefits. Why should same-sex marriages not be able to join a bank account or have health care benefits or tax benefits that married couples have? It's also pretty hard to deny that this DOMA was a law made just to hurt an unpopular minority. In fact, most of the DOMA's original supporters have retracted their statements. Former President Bill Clinton, who originally signed the DOMA into law, states that the fabric of our country has changed, and so should this policy. Bill Clinton left office with a 66% approval rating and is still a very popular political icon today. So if he is retracting an original law that he himself signed into act, then you know it must have been a flop. I understand that people can get stuck in their ways. My grandfather, who I mentioned at the beginning, probably won't ever accept gay marriage, and how could they? It's not how they grew up, or it's how they were raised. And it did take our country over 100 years to end the discrimination of Black Americans. We are making extreme progress, but most people who remain in the old ways are just that, old. Our generation will one day rule the nation, and I hope that we do it with love, respect, and kindness. I hope that we will be able to treat all people equally. Which leads me to my final point. Love. The only thing that should matter in a marriage is love. I'm straight and also a Christian. Being raised in a loving Christian family taught me to love everyone. You should never judge a person by how they look, who they decide to spend their time with, or if they dress differently than you do. I hope to marry a man someday, and I don't feel offended that a man is able to marry a man if he wishes. Just because gay people can get married too, I don't feel that my future marriage is compromised or tainted by that fact. I don't think that it harms the institution of marriage. I think that it expands it. Here's an interesting quote that I found. It goes, "We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, but they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." You may have heard this before. It's written in the Declaration of Independence that has been around for 240 years. If two American citizens want to pursue happiness by marrying someone of the same sex, let them be. It is, after all, their American right.